Guest this evening, Tuhin Sinha of the BJP is with us. Also with us is Dolly Sharma of the Congress party. Abhishek Banerjee, who's a columnist, is also with us. We are also expecting a cyber expert to join us during the course of this debate. But let me begin with you, Tuhin. The fact that these are serious allegations that have been leveled by the former Twitter CEO. He claims that there was too much of a pressure that was put on Twitter by the government. There were pressures to take down content. In fact, there was a data that was also shared in the parliament that spoke about how between 2014 to 2020, the increase in regulation of Twitter and taking down content increased by 2,000%.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Good
You know, Twitter under Jack Dorsey had basically started acting as a rogue entity. And at the core of the problem was their willful defiance of Indian laws, their willful defiance to conform to the intermediary laws for an extended period between 2020 and 2022. Now, you know, if they peddle fake news with regard, I'll give you one specific instance. In 2021, when there were farmer protests on the eve of on our Republic Day, you know, a lot of people had tweeted, or specifically somebody like Rajdeep Sardesai had tweeted about a farmer being killed by in police firing, which was absolutely untrue. If we as a responsible government asked Twitter to take that particular tweet off because that spreads misinformation, that has the potential to inflame sentiments and to, you know, cause law and order problems, what problem should Twitter have? The problem with Twitter is that with the Twitter of Jack Dorsey basically was that it wanted to weaponize misinformation. It wanted to, you know, cater to the political interests of their bosses, which clearly was a woke mindset. The guy would come to India and smash, Brahminical patriarchy. What does that mean? He very clearly wanted to peddle to a certain political agenda, which the government had a problem with. The way he de-amplified many accounts of people supporting the government without reason was a clear violation of Article 14 and Article 19 of our Constitution. So I think, you know, we gave him a long rope. The Twitter files which came to the fore after Elon Musk took over Twitter very clearly exposed the malified agenda of Twitter under Jack Dorsey. And I don't think that needs any explanation. They had a similar agenda in US where they banned the account of Donald Trump.
So, Tuhin, when you say that this was a violative of freedom of expression in the country, you have cited Article 14 and 19. That was the reason that was cited by Twitter when it reinstated those 250 accounts that the government of India wanted Twitter to ban at that time in 2021. And they said that this was not violative. In fact, they were not really doing anything about what you were accusing them to, and this will be violative of freedom of speech and expression, and that's why they cannot go ahead and block those accounts.
If the government had asked Twitter to ban, or number one, to my knowledge, they did not specifically ask them to ban accounts. They asked Twitter to remove a lot of tweets which was specifically peddling misinformation. And misinformation in today's age is probably, you know, the biggest fodder for creating law and order problems. And all these so-called fact checkers, some of these so-called fact checkers which exist on Twitter today, I think their primary agenda is only to peddle falsehood, which was what was happening and which is what the government had a problem with.
No, but you're saying that the government has asked Twitter not to remove any accounts. But Twitter is claiming, and that the data also that's been put forth, is that 250 accounts specifically were asked to be removed from the social media platform. And this has been put out there. And after Twitter decided to reinstate those accounts is when they sent the cops on Twitter. That was the claim that was made.
No, if there are certain accounts which are peddling fake news, which can lead to a potential law and order problem, only and only in those cases the government has intervened.
Okay.
And the government has a right to intervene in those cases. But again, I bring you to the main point. Twitter managed to get away with impunity by flouting, you know, Indian laws for a good period of 2 years. And when they were put into a corner, when they were asked to comply with it, that is when, you know, the meltdown happened. That is when all these accusations came to the fore.
Okay. Okay, let me bring in the member of the Congress party who is with us on the broadcast, Dolly Sharma. Thank you so much for being with us. I'd like to understand from the Congress party. Congress party is creating a lot of hue and cry over these statements that have been made by the former Twitter CEO. However, I'd like you to, like our viewers' attention also to this one aspect. Back in 2012, it was a Congress regime that had got about 16 accounts blocked because they were partial to the right wing. And that also has happened under the Congress government. So isn't it very rich of the Congress party to go ahead and claim that this is something that's sort of a vendetta against the ruling, against people who are voicing dissent against the government to go about blocking accounts?
So actually, BJP government cannot take anything against them. And that's very clear. Everybody has seen the reporters who reported against them during the corona time also. They were sent behind the bars. This was done.
No, I'm asking you about 2012, Dolly. First, respond to the query that I have put forth, and then you can go ahead and make your point. 2012.
Can you repeat the question?
I want to understand that there were 16 accounts that were blocked by the government. It was the Congress regime at that time, 2012. When the Congress regime can go ahead and ask of violative accounts, quote unquote, to be blocked from a social media platform. And if, let's say, a ruling dispensation like the BJP currently is doing it, why is the Congress crying foul?
No, but we've never done that. We've never asked anybody, like if the farmers are protesting in the country, we've never done the way BJP has done with the farmers of this nation, right? You must have seen the roads, what they've done, how they beated the farmers. Everybody, that was clearly seen by the entire nation. All the journalists who were covering the farmer protests were sent behind the bars. Though many independent journalists, YouTubers were also sent and beaten badly by this government. And let me bring in this also to everybody's attention. Is Twitter tags BJP IT cell head Amit Malviya, who tweeted as something and which was clearly tagged as manipulated media. And Sambit Patra, for that matter, also was tagged as manipulated media. So every day what they do is they come out with something or the other as fake news and they want to spread lies across the country. This is their everyday job. And anybody in this entire country who says anything against this ruling party, they are always into either they send the fellow to the jail or they do the way they are doing. So they are not allowing anybody to say anything against them.
So Dolly, you are essentially saying that what was done during the Congress regime, it has increased many folds during the Modi regime. Is that what you're saying? And that's why it is unjustified now?
But we've never killed any farmer, any protest like the way they are doing. We've never done this with the journalists of this nation. What they are doing, what they've done with the people who covered corona, what they've done with the journalists who covered farmer protest, and also now you can see the way they have treated the wrestlers of this country. Everything that they want is in favor of them, but this is not possible. We live in a democracy. We live in a democracy and everybody has a right to speak.
Tuhin Sinha, I'll want your version back on the